As we get closer to the end of this month, something is now increasing in its certainty. Back in 2021 and the current price structure, the indicators, the volume, the pattern, the moving average, everything aligns. And if history stays true, which as of now looks really, really relevant, it would be like this. That means you would be most likely looking at all-time highs entering in the altcoin market. Remember, this is happening at a time where Bitcoin is showing you some deviations. The divergence is still here, and the deviations are based on the history. We have seen the market back then and today, you have an idea of what's happening. What is that comparables from history? What can you look for? Because when we all argue with this fact, we know this is happening. One of the biggest central banks of the world at this stage, I mean, it's really weird. But if you don't understand the reality of money, you're not going to take benefit of that. Even if you're trading these, say at one point it actually went up like nuts today, 40-50% up. Now back down to 20, but it went towards a lot. Say Doge, it's consistently pushing higher, 40% up for the week and like 90% for the month. That's a great movement in the meme coins. So it kind of shows you which direction we were actually going, and we were discussing about all of those in the SR family. Now, the market kind of takes you to the next direction. This is XRP, which is kind of poking us, asking like, okay, what would you do? Should I go back down? Should I push higher? Is this a fake out? Is it going to be a retest and a bounce? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right now, when you do look at this, you can see the price dropping here, then slowing down, the rounded bottom going back up. That range of consolidation, all of that's here. Now, the deviation can be the A, B, or C. Now, as of now, it does look like there is a lot of possibility for the A or the C. In both cases, we're good in the altcoin side, and that's what matters for us. So when we go back into the XRP, here the argument of where we are is still there. Some of them are like we're still in the accumulation. Some of them, like us, would put the argument like the previous range of support turning into an accumulation is your accumulation range. Now you can see that the price is staying above that range, which shows you strength in the market. You had a pattern, you broke that, you're retesting that, and most likely the price action is showing that you can bounce to the upside. Now, as usual, XRP is slow in any of those movements. But what can you understand from the current price structure? This is a 3-day chart, and this particular candle, this one, you look at the volume, it had increasing selling volume, which was followed by a little bit of increase in the sellers. After which you saw a little bit of buying power, but you're starting to bounce back up. So in this equation, buyers are starting to increase their positions. We can see that each time you reach this range, someone is buying it. Each time you go below this range, now that's 0.59. So in the recent days, last 30 days, you can put that. Whenever you're dropping below 0.6, 0.9, there's a lot of buying activity going on in the asset. So when you do go on a macro chart, which is the monthly, the primary thought process is, okay, watch this. In 2021, the first burst of volume, the price increase, all of them came here. That was great. Now, after a long period of time, you're watching something similar here, breaking through in terms of buying volume, which kind of validates what we just talked about. Each time the price drops, someone is coming in to buy this asset, which is a positive thing. Now, you'll add the RSI here. You want to see which direction it's actually traveling to, where the MACD is. So the RSI is still respecting the double bottom which we put in and testing that range of support resistance. Now that the trend line here is breaking, it shows you the odds. But unlike what you just saw in Ether, the altcoin market, where the monthly was about to enter here, you're not there. So you have some way slowly to grind higher to reach that position before you get a big blow off. If you do look at Ether at that position, say on a monthly chart, now you understand what I'm talking about. This is that range. Historically speaking, when you do enter there, you do get these kind of a movement. So in altcoins, a lot of them will show you this. And the Bitcoin dominance kind of shows you on a macro, it's still here. This range has not been invalidated. Say you put a weekly chart, monthly chart, you see this. This range has been a strong resistance. The price constantly got slowed down at that range. You had many wicks to the upside. Liquidity started entering on that range. Now, when you're on a macro, which is a monthly, you're watching a possible double bottom. Now, the monthly has still few days to go. And when we just saw the altcoin market is getting a lot of buying volume, increase in buying volume, here in the Bitcoin dominance, you're watching just the opposite. That's an increase in selling volume, which means the downside is increasing. For example, last time when you saw something like this was here, right? The first candle, which is good. You erased the most recent bullish candle. Now, the most recent bullish candle here is very small. So just erasing that itself is good. And that was followed by consistent downward action or consistent upward action in the altcoin market. Now, say you want to look for another instance. I would go for this one here. You had this movement and that validated your short-term trend. In both cases, altcoins performed well. Now, within the altcoin markets or Ether, when you do compare them, you will be actually watching like there is a lot of short-term volatility happening in this market. And it's clearly visible on a daily chart. When you go onto a daily chart, you will watch like there is a lot of ups and downs happening in front of you. But the moment you start zooming out, just looking at the line, the moving average here, the direction of the moving average, that kind of gives you a lot of advantage. So you buy when the price is below the moving average or close to it, you ride it higher. You want to buy the dips, you're looking for something like this. Now that's a daily. So you get a lot of them. If you don't want that amount of noise, you go on a 3-day chart. So on a 3-day chart, this was the last opportunity. After that, you didn't get one, which is actually a good thing. Meaning, if you do this leg, there should be something before you go up, which would look like this in the history. We've seen these kind of movements in the history, right? So price most likely will repeat its own history here. If you're on a monthly, you already understand which path we're going. Most of us in this market have hard time with patience. Agreed? Look at which direction this is going. Historically speaking, when you see such a phase, what follows? When you see such a phase and you're way below the all-time highs and the volume is saying, I'm buying this, I'm buying this. What happens after that, right? You're not late in altcoin market. Yes, you are completely late in Bitcoin market. There's a huge difference between them. If you do look at this, yeah, at this range, 15 to 20, 25, this asset showed good ROI structure. The MACD on a monthly, when it was entering there, gave you the biggest monthly increase in Bitcoin in dollar terms. That's actually a great thing to compare and say some of these altcoins are about to enter there. They're going to get biggest monthly candle. Now, remember when we say this, we had the price increase in Ether. If you go back and look at what Ether has done before, 700 all the way up to 1,440. That's a 100% move. That's big. Now, 76 all the way up to 232, that's a 200% increase. So in any case, if you put that into the perspective of even 100% from here, that's $7,000 per Ether. Say it's going to do 50% of that. Fine. Even at that point, you're talking about all-time highs. That's not a bad deal. And that would bring in a lot more media attention, a lot more retail participation in this asset class. And that is where you should be looking for constant opportunities. Remember, very recently, look, 4 or 5 days back, I was literally informing you guys, watch, the meme coins are attracting money. Doge is now 40% up from then. You look at the market and you're like, okay, that's true. Some of them are attracting money, and those assets which are highly correlated with meme coins, they're also starting to push higher. So if you're in this field, crypto, now's the time to look at your portfolio and ask the question, do I have this list of assets? Or am I completely in XRP? Am I completely in payments? Do I have exposure to where the money is going? If you see the daily volume, it kind of shows you the direction, right? When you see $500 million in a meme like this, money is moving there. It kind of gives you a huge idea. Then the AI segment is still attracting cash. We discussed about that too. The memes, the AIs. Now, there are some small caps in payments, some small caps in smart contracts, kind of following these for some weird reason. But they are following it and we are riding that, so we are happy. So if you want that as an advantage, join the 1,000+ members in the Scientific Investor family. The link to join us in the description below in YouTube or in the bio of Twitter. Until this point, if you didn't consider smashing that like button, please consider doing that. That supports the growth of this channel. Anyway, I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.